Good morning, friends. It's Heather at Bush Puppy Farm. I hope you are doing well. It's the day after the Christmas holiday. It's the second day of Hanukkah, and I'm sure other folks are celebrating in all the ways that they celebrate. So I hope that you have been enjoying a restful season, hopefully a low-stress season. Remember that we are animals, and although we do not hibernate, we do need rest, and winter is a great time for rest. That's my PSA for the day. So we are leaving tomorrow for a week away in Colorado for just a winter holiday, the four of us. And so I have a lot to do today to kind of prep for that. So we're out at the farm right now. And the reason I'm starting this in the car is that it's going to be raining on and off all day. And I want to try to keep the camera as dry as possible. Mostly I'm just out here not to do work, but to just check on everything because I won't be back for a week and I want to make sure there's no major trouble brewing, that things look okay. I've looked ahead on the forecast. We're going to get rain here for the next 4 days, and then it should be sunny or partly cloudy until we get back. And so everything's going to be fine in terms of water. And it doesn't look like we're going to have any like really hard frosts or anything like that. So I don't have to worry about trying to cover things preemptively. So we're going to go check out the farm and just make sure everything's looking good. And then I need to go get 5 or 6 bags of wood chips to put in the chicken run. They're digging deep holes everywhere and it's really muddy, except for where I've rigged up a tarp for them. That part has stayed relatively dry, which is great. So I do want to elevate them above the muddy wood chips, and by giving them a whole fresh layer of bedding in the run, and just kind of general cleanup out there so that it's not a disaster when the pet sitter comes tomorrow. And then probably double check on things in the greenhouse, make sure everything looks good, is watered and ready, because the pet sitter also takes care of all that stuff. So today is just a day of chores, of taking stock and seeing what needs to be done, making some mental notes, because when we get back, we're going to be launching into all of the late winter, early spring projects, like all the pruning that needs to happen, and like with the rose bushes and stuff, and the fruits, the climbing fruits, and like blackberries and our blueberries and things, and general like starting to clean up in certain places, just a whole bunch of stuff. I've got still have to do that succulent garden project. So there's a lot going on coming up. So I want to prep for that, get ready, and then go and enjoy our vacation without having too much stress about what I'm leaving behind. So let's go check on things at the farm in between showers right now, and just make sure everything's looking good. I can't drive up here right now because it is so muddy and wet that the truck slips and slides down backwards down the hill into traffic, so that's not fun. All right, so we're just gonna check on things. Lots of grass growing in here. Oh, see, you can see how much rain we've had. Almost 5 inches. There's some weeds growing in here. This is a daffodil bed. I don't really care about that. Whatever. Once the daffodils come up, hopefully in the next month, it'll be fine. So we've got daffodils in all these bags, and I think tulips in that, or maybe daffodils in that crate. I don't remember. All right, so far, everything's looking okay. We haven't had any major high winds or anything, so, and all this stuff is weighted down. All right, straw flower, looking great. Ranunculus coming up at the end down there, looking really good. Very low weeds, which is great. And I don't see any, I'm not expecting gopher activity in these beds because they're lined, but this is the first time doing it. Just want to make sure. So the feverfew is doing okay. Down here we start getting into ranunculus. This section was supposed to be cynoglossum, and most of it got eaten by, I think, birds. That's okay. We've got a section there that we can plant in new cynoglossum, and then there's ranunculus here. Under here we've got ranunculus. Still some grass I need to pull. I just hadn't had a chance to come back for that. We've got statice and snapdragons. They're looking good. And then over here we've got Ommymagus, looking good. Beautiful Orlea. This is probably the best stand of Orlea I've ever grown. It's looking so good. And then ranunculus on this side. And you can see there's some gopher activity in the pathways, but clearly they're not able to get into the beds. That's all I care about. Orlea still, it's got almost 3/4 of a bed of Orlea, which looks great. The ranunculus is all coming up. And then down here we've got stock, which is looking good. Stock was, I wasn't going to plant that, but I had extra seeds and I'm trying to go through all the seeds that I'm no longer going to use. And so they got a bit here. These are one and done. So as soon as I get them harvested, then this bed space is open for something for a second succession. And then we've got Daucus here. Couple pieces of grass I need to pull, but otherwise looking good. All right. This ranunculus bed looking good. Put straw down last time we were out here. It's really doing a great job to keep the weeds down. Doing good. Okay. And then of course over here is just weeds at this point because all these beds still need to be made. And you can see how wet, it's like cakey. When you walk on this, it just becomes a big overshoe of mud and clay. So it's going to definitely have to dry out before we can do any work out here. I'm thankful that the grass is growing through here because this is pathway and kind of keeps some of the mud off your feet. Okay, the tulip bed, looking fine. I don't see anything coming up yet, which is fine other than grass, and that's no big deal. Then we've got the future dahlia bed with its buckwheat cover crop, sweet pea trellis with some grass growing up in there. That's okay. And then this big mess that still needs to get cleaned up. This is one of the projects for when we get back. Just gonna cut all these mums back. And this was a sunflower bed this year, so all that needs to get cut back. Birds are actually still eating on the seeds of some of those sunflower heads, so it's one of the reasons they're still there. And then finally, we've got daffodil bed 1, daffodil bed 2. It's kind of hard to see them, but they're there. And then this is ranunculus, final ranunculus bed. It's looking good. Things are popping up. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I mean, there's still a mess out here, obviously, but nothing pressing. I can go away for a week and not worry that everything's gonna be gone or fall apart unless something very strange happens and gophers suddenly develop the ability to chew through 1/4-inch steel hardware cloth, which is not going to happen. So, yeah, it looks like everything's good. We'll probably have to start doing some string trimming in about a month to keep things manageable. But other than that, the main project for the next couple months is going to be finishing these beds. And I'm definitely going to need help. Especially now that I've allowed the grass to grow up through here. As long as it doesn't go to seed, we'll be okay. Oh, and this is the this is a huge daffodil bed of Tahiti variety, and then lots of wildflowers sprinkled on top. And you can see we've got good germination, so that'll be fun. And then this is the dahlia bed that was seed-started dahlias from Floret. Those tubers are sleeping. And hopefully they'll come back happy in the spring, or late spring, early summer. And then we've got our pollinator patch bed that is sleeping for winter. There's lots of stuff in here, including some daffodils and some grasses. Obviously I need to come in and pull those, but it's not a huge weeding job. So everything's feeling manageable. Mostly I'm just thrilled that I've got a good amount of things for spring for my customers, and everything's still alive and surviving. So compared to last year this time, this is a huge improvement. All right, so farm check done. Now I'm off to get some cat food for Raven for while we're gone. And then we'll get some wood chips and take care of the chicken run, which is kind of gross right now. All right, there we go. 6 bags of wood chips. I'm actually going to ask for Mike and the boys to help me carry these down. They were way heavier than I anticipated because they're all wet. And so I'm going to get started in the run, getting things organized, and then I'm going to ask them to at least carry them down there. I can lift them and put them, spread them out. But hauling them all the way down here, it was hard enough getting them all in the back of the truck. They're wet and waterlogged, and so it just really added to the weight. All right, let's go start cleaning up. I need to rake in there, move things around, pick some stuff up. I'm gonna put some chips underneath, like a whole bag, or maybe 2, underneath the coop itself to give them fresh bedding under the coop, which is where most of the poop goes. And then the rest I'm actually going to pile up in a big tower because they really enjoy scratching and tearing that down, and they'll spread it around the run themselves. Let's get you guys some treats. Yeah, it's okay. Oh, so muddy. I'm sorry, babies. This is how it is. All right. We'll get you guys some treats. Okay. Here you go. Yo, good girls. Hi, Flo. There you go, baby. Mealworms. Yeah, show good girls. All right. It's okay, Francine. Okay, the food on there will encourage them to start digging, but basically, over the next couple hours, they will tear this whole pile down and spread it everywhere, which is great. It's a lot less work for me. So what I did was I put wood chips, I scraped out under the coop pretty deeply, scraped out the coop, and then put wood chips under there, 2 bags. That will, it's nice and dry, and it's going to be mostly dry under the coop. So it'll help, as it'll be what Joe Salatin calls a carbonaceous diaper. Will help soak up more of the poop and stuff, and it'll really start to break things down. And then I did a bag over here along the fence line because they really like to dig along that fence line, especially in front of the door here. And I'd like to have a deeper pile of bedding there. It helps keep the predators out. So you can see they're starting to enjoy this. They know that there's food on it, and they're going to scratch and peck in there. Now, the reason I do this deep litter method here, It's kind of based on Justin Rhodes' compost corner thing. This is a permanent run, so I don't have the space or the ability really to do a movable chicken run every day. So this is a permanent run. It is 10 feet by 20 feet wide. And we have a 4x4 coop, which is the Chickshaw Mini-Me. I've got a door that opens and closes with the sun. It's battery operated, but also has a solar panel on it. And then they have about 9 inches of wood chips in here. And underneath those wood chips is soil, which was the original soil, but has now become really rich compost. And in order to harvest it, I scrape away all the wood chips and then I just dig down and take out the soil, and that can go directly into the garden. Now is obviously not the time to do that because it's sopping wet, but when it's drier in the late spring, right before I go to plant the garden, I can take that compost, because the deeper down stuff is already done. There's no, all the poop is broken down, it's ready to go. And so that goes on the garden. And then during the year, when I give them garden scraps, I just toss them over the fence into here, they enjoy them, and then that goes back into the compost. So this is a closed loop system. It's a permaculture system. Basically, it's a cycle. So, the birds create compost. I put that compost in the garden. I grow plants. The plants go back to the birds, and it just does this cycle. So yes, I got chickens because I think they're adorable and I love having them mostly as pets. These guys are not going to get eaten when they stop laying eggs. They all have names, so they're pets more than anything. I got them for eggs, obviously, but mostly I got them for compost because they make amazing compost. And they are really good food recyclers. So I enjoy that a whole lot. They enjoy it. They love getting good scraps. And so far, other than one hen being egg bound, in the last 2 years, we haven't had any health issues, knock wood. But I do worry about them when we leave, we go away. But our pet sitter is amazing. They have chickens themselves, which is great because we're not just asking somebody to come and make sure they have food, which they do. This is a feed silo. I mean, it holds a ton of food. It'll take them weeks to go through that. And they have their water over there. It's not really food and water. It's more about collecting the eggs and just checking on them every day. Are they okay? Is anybody acting weird? Does anybody have any problems? And the nice thing about our pet sitter is because they've had chickens for so many years, they can deal with minor problems when they arise. And so I have a little first aid kit just in case. But hopefully I won't ever need that. All right, guys, let's go check on everything in the greenhouse, and then we're going to wrap it up for today because I got to pack. Okay, out here in the greenhouse, there's just a few things that the pet sitter is going to take care of for us. I've already deeply watered succulents. I just gave them a deep water today. They are fine for a week. Absolutely fine. Same thing with, these are 2 eucalyptus that I started from seed this year, and then this beautiful aloe that I haven't done anything with yet. This pepper is also okay. I really should cut it back. I just haven't yet. But so that stuff, these succulent containers, none of this is going to need water while we're gone. It's these guys. So these are our seedlings that we started. These are the perennial seedlings. So we've got everything in here from calendula to dianthus and salvia, xeranthemum, catnip, hyssop, violas. Down here are the ones who are less further along because these are the more recent starts. Again, more dianthus, a lot of it, Gaillardia, penstemon, coreopsis, vervain, things like that. So these are the ones that I need them to just check. They won't need water every day. Basically every other day I've been watering, and the water comes from the rain barrel right next to the greenhouse that gets all its water from the roof of the greenhouse. So it's just these 2 trays. I will ask them to check these guys. These are, I'm overwintering these poinsettias because in my zone you can. They won't dig it outside. It's going to be a little too cold, but these are basically members of the Euphorbia family. So I'm going to see what happens. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But you can see they're defoliating because it's winter time now and they can feel it. So I'm just keeping them in this tray, keeping them watered. This is a pepper plant that's overwintering as well. And then we'll see what happens. I won't plant them out in the landscape. They will just be like patio plants once the weather's warm. I'll cut them back and we'll see what happens. They'll come back or they won't. But euphorbias generally do. And I'm in zone 9B, so they should be fine overwintering. So I'm curious to see if that will happen. I just hate the idea of like buying these for a season and then composting them, especially because they're expensive. These really specialty ones that are absolutely beautiful, they're not cheap. So I'm going to see if I can overwinter them. Okay, so the other thing I did was I set up my little, this is just a tiny little heater, but it heats this space beautifully because this is a small space. This greenhouse is 9 by 12, so it's a small space. And it has a little solar panel on the outside that runs these fans that cycle the air through fully every 20 minutes. And then the heater is plugged into this thermostat, and I am keeping it around 55 degrees actually, but it's 58 Fahrenheit in here right now. So that just kicks on just to keep the temperature at 55. The seedlings will do fine in that. As long as it's not going down into the 40s, everybody in here will be happy. And so I'm happy because last year, this heater started tripping all of the circuit breakers, but we upgraded our power strip and now it works great. So I can have the lights and the heat mats and the heater on, which is awesome. So right now we're only using 2 individual lights and the heater intermittently. So not a lot of power being drained in here, which is great. And it'll keep everybody happy until we get back. All right, speaking of that, I need to go pack. Mike did all the laundry for us, so I need to go eat some lunch and pack, and then we'll head out. While we're gone, I will try to post a bunch of stories if I can, or shorts. So stories on Instagram. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram. I think it's just H Marano or HL Marano. I don't know. Probably if you look up Bush Poppy Farm, it'll come up. And then here on YouTube, I'll try to do some shorts, but I'm not bringing my computer, so or this camera. So anything I do will be on my phone. I'm not going to try to film stuff with the intention of making videos, long form videos. So, all right, you guys have a wonderful week. Happy New Year. When I get back to do the next full-length video, it'll be 2025, and we'll be started on a whole new set of projects. So thank you for stopping by today and for hanging out with me. I hope you have a wonderful time in your garden and in your dreams of your garden. So if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, obviously it's not gardening time, but you are dreaming of it. We'll have some seed videos coming up for you as well. And in the Southern Hemisphere, enjoy your summer. And I hope it's a fruitful one with no fires and just beautiful weather for you. Take care, you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.